Hello, I'm Steve Mason and welcome to the good, the bad and the what the fucks. 13, 14, I don't know. But it's Nicolas Cage, free. And it's mental to think that after a year in development, the last one, this one's been filmed in 2 weeks and it's been done like the last one. So you're going to see me going on a bit of a Nicolas Cage mission the last 2 weeks. And when I come back at the end, that will be the outtake. No, it won't be the outtake, it'll be the last video, last film. See you in the end. Right, yo, so here we are, the first video. You can see Thundercat straight through me jumper. Right, so this is the good, the bad and the what the fuck's Nicolas Cage of volume 3, the first entry of video logs. I quite liked how this happened last time because I've got a lot of Nicolas Cage films to get through, so I'm literally like, right, okay, trying to do them 10 in a row. It worked alright concept last time. So the World Trade Center, Nicolas Cage. So first off, this is a good one. Okay, everyone remembers where they were when 9/11 happened. Stay. I was at college. News broke. Everyone went home. I don't like this hat. My head was quite pointy. Touchy subject, isn't it? It's always going to be. So, you know, the idea of it coming out and if anyone was going to handle it on a big scale budget movie, we've had different stories about the airplanes. Charlie Sheen's trapped in an elevator in one. 911 and stuff like that. I always found it weird because you got like the 9/11 thing, and obviously 11/9, is it the way they say in America? I don't know. I just know the dates are always backwards over here. But yeah, if you're going to ask anyone to do it, it's going to have to be Oliver Stone. He's an amazing director. Platoon, taking his real life experience. JFK, twisting and that. Natural Born Killers, a bit mental, but you know. It needed to be handled like right, and the film's about courage. It's not about the terror. It's about humans. It's about passion to survive, families. You know, it's raising awareness, and it's great to how many people are in this. So Nicolas Cage leads the cast of it. He doesn't get his name on the front cover. There's a lot of people in here, like Stephen Dorff tops up, I'm sure. Louis Gutzman's in it. So Nicolas Cage, Michael Piana, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Maria Bello, Stephen Dorff, Michael Shannon's in this as well. It's quite. I mean, again, it just happens, and you go into it, and it's great to show that. So it's a good film, but again, it's a what the fuck film because it's like, right. Were we ready for a film like that? Well, maybe we were, or maybe we weren't. No one's ever going to be prepared for it. It was an absolute tragedy, and it's, you know, it's great that it's dedicated to everyone, and it has all the facts and figures about the event. It is a true story. There's nothing worse than feeling claustrophobic. I think Nicolas Cage delivers an absolute outstanding performance, and I know I'll give Nicolas Cage a lot of shit for some of the stuff he does, like think hard, that kind of Nicolas Cage. His performance in it is absolutely fantastic, and so is Michael Pena. It's a performance in it as well. So yeah, that's the first one. Event read. I think the next one's going to be Honeymoon in Vegas. These are two films. Actually, these are two films that I started watching and fell asleep, which should have been in the last volume. Wicker Man should have been in the last volume as well. So I think, without cutting back to me, we're now going to go to the Wicker Man review. I already did, sort of. We're watching the Wicker Man remake.
Well, we have a burning fire.
Yeah. There's no fucking dancing around fucking trees. Good morning. It was freezing last night. That room, I'm not lying here, that room. So we started watching The Wicker Man and Brittany fell asleep, so I took the television, just picked it up and took it in the room. And I watched it, fell asleep. I know how it ends, spoiler alert if you don't. I found the commentary really, really interesting. It put me to sleep 3 times. I didn't sleep very well, and one time I woke up, and I'm not joking, I seen like an eerie shadow just standing over the bed. And I lay there awake, solid, going, like, Brit doesn't believe us. You guys aren't going to believe us. You think I'm taking the piss. I'm just going to show you the room. I don't know if you're a friendly ghost and an angry ghost. I'm just trying to point out what I've seen this. Just standing over the top of us. I know I'm really quiet there, but as I say, oh, I was getting, okay, ghost. Okay, so I'm back at home after I tried to start to do the Wicker Man up there. It's like obviously do the Wicker Man in Scotland. Oh, should we do it in a different country and completely change it? That's what I've just done there. So basically, Nicolas Cage. Now I do a series called Good, the Bad and the What the Fucks, and I would put Wicker Man in a what the fuck for where it took its origin. But I know it's going to get a lot of hate. But if you look at the original, went right. How do you even remake that? You could make it a thriller horror and really ground it, and you could go like that, keep it in Britain, but it's to go to the American market, and it's been documented quite a lot that Wicker Man has failed multiple times to find its American market. So setting it in America makes sense. Nicolas Cage in it makes sense. The B factor they bring in, something new, you know, they bring in the bees and the backstories, rockets. I have no idea what that noise was. The backstory about the kids and you know, why Nicolas Cage, it gives him more credit that he has an ex-relationship, you know, it gives him a reason to go. Kind of needs that, you know. I mean, it is quite bleak, the original, about why this guy wants to go, but again, if you watch the uncut version, the director's cut, or the final cut, whichever Wicker Man you want to watch, there is a bit of reason why the character wants to go there. And it does that. Now, swaps Christopher Lee's character to a female because of the whole B factor. Quite works it. There's a lot of twins going on in this as well. There's old twins. There's real twins. There's a couple of twins in the classroom. It's not a bee going around the nail as well. It's a crow. A lot of CGI, I think, in this from time to time. Doesn't have the mass creepiness of the masks and stuff. Appeals the peekaboos. They all just seem to paint themselves up. I think the masks were a bigger thing for me personally. Wicker Man just, you know, burns away. It ends exactly the same, but it doesn't have that captivating shot of like the head going down in the sun. It's very bleak, you know. There's a lot more groundwork put in to give it a solid story. It does appear homage of quite a lot of girl falling out of the wardrobe and stuff like that, so it does take a lot of the original in. Just gives a lot more backstory for the American market. But how I love the classic is it's always going to get a butchering over here. Could essentially get remade again quite quickly, but it was well made from a film point of view. The comedy on the DVD, it's all the extra features you get. The guys who made this have a cracking sense of humour, and I do recommend you listening to that. And there's going to be a jump cut. Yeah, jump cut. Even when Nicolas Cage goes to confess that he's still not feeling himself, there's a missing poster of Edward from the original movie up there as well, and I thought that was really cool, you know, sort of tongue-in-cheek that this stuff does happen. So you could say it's a remake, but you can also say it happened again in America, you know, the paganism worship, and that came across. So yeah, there's that little thing with that missing poster that we make sure, yeah, it's a remake, but it's also another happening. So I would say this is more a spiritual remake, you know. It just happened again in America, you know. It's not like the Terror of Loch Ness. The Loch Ness Monster gets discovered, so he comes up with a plan to move to Canada, and that's where the rest of the film takes place, you know. So yeah, Wicker Man. If it was in the good, the bad, the what the fucks, it would be a what the fuck Nicolas Cage remake, but no. It's not as bad. The Bee is the Beetle, fair enough. I mean, it's a borderline movie, but yeah. Anyway, back to Scotland.
Well, what did you get for the firewood, and Stephen? A quick save basket.
Yeah, so the Wicker Man, I went all the way to Scotland. I watched Wicker Man in Scotland, and the bees. Just what you doing, Gage? But yeah, that was the review. I think I filmed a review. I tried to film a review in Scotland and filmed one here. And then I think that Wicker Man review even got missed from you searching for Wicker Man, which is when I go all the way to Scotland. And you can actually see up there in the background, holy hell, there's actually bits of the Wicker Man from the original movie in the background and all that Nicolas Cage stuff. But yeah, that is a total what the fuck movie. I like the premise of it. The Wicker Man itself, everyone goes, oh, fucking, the original Wicker Man is batshit crazy. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't want it to be a horror. It doesn't know. It's meant to be a musical. It won an award for a sci-fi. I liked what they brought into it. I liked the idea of it being a colony. I liked it how it's a female baddie instead of Christopher Lee in his bright yellow jumper. I like the bee kind of thing. The bees is the best. Woo. But it's not as bleak as the original. Conspiracy of like trying to find it. It's modern as well, so I don't know. That's a what the fuck movie because Wicker Man's a what the fuck movie. Literally. So yeah, it's pretty mental. So yeah, I think Honeymoon in Vegas is the next one I'm going to try and do. Because what I remember there, he lost his wife to a game of cards to James Caan. So yeah, let's get the Honeymoon in Vegas. Okay, so did you just wave?
Yeah.
Here's the third entry in Nicolas Cage. That was Honeymoon in Vegas. I've just finished watching. Started watching it a while ago. James Caan, Nicolas Cage, and Sarah Jessica Parker, including
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi's in
Pat
it.
Morita.
Yeah, including Bueller. We all wear masks. That guy, the voice, and then when Nicolas Cage freaks out at the, I want to book a plane today. He's getting, well, statistically speaking, I need to book a plane 2 weeks in advance.
Him, who I thought was Jim's dad off American Pie.
Yeah, you were sitting over there. So the storyline is simple. They go to Vegas. He's got a bit of a gambling problem. Has a card game, bit like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and he gets in debt. And he basically, James Caan has flashback memories of his ex-wife that looks like Sarah
Jessica
Parker. It is her, obviously flashbacks, and the bet he agrees to have a weekend with her to settle the score, and Nicolas Cage ends up having to go all the way to Hawaii, then back to Vegas, then he's trying to sleaze his way in to get her to marry her, like big locations, a lot of comedy values. Nicolas Cage is losing his fucking mind, especially when the guy from Merry Christmas from Die Hard 2, the ticket guy, and he's just like, ooh, Sid, you see, he's getting stabbed every night. Like, if you love the rage that is Nicolas Cage, there's some great rage in here.
And watch Mandy. If you like the rage of Nicolas Cage.
Oh, if you like the rage of Nicolas Cage, Mandy was in the last one. That might be one from Matty Connor. But it's a good movie, but it's a what the fuck movie because the movie ends with Nicolas Cage jumping out of an airplane dressed as a glow-in-the-dark, luminously lit Elvis Presley, landing perfectly in his first ever parachute jump to save his girl before she marries. Well, she's decided she's not going to marry him by then, but the 15, early 90s movie just before The Rock came along. What?
Do you remember the fuzzy line?
Oh, there's some glitches in it. I mean, you're right, yeah. There was a really bad cut, like that. And I was like, look at that cut. And then there's a bit just before James Caan falls down the hole, and there's like this proper fizzle, like right across, as it was like definitely transferred from a VHS. It wasn't like a digital error. It was a very, very like a VHS line going down there. So yeah, loads of Elvis in it, lots of Vegas, classic soundtrack of all the Vegas tunes. But yeah, just before The Rock hit big. As I say, it's a kind of movie, like, to be honest with you, that is This Means War. It's pairing a girl who's hot at the time against an old school actor, an up and coming actor. So yeah, that's the third entry in the good, the bad and the what the fucks. I'm giving it a what the fuck because of the flying Elvises and Nicolas Cage being a flying Elvis. Yeah, but no, it was alright, wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Not a bad movie, just it's great for the rage that is Nicolas Cage. I want to book a plane today. Yeah, some funny bits in it. Right, next video. So the next one, the good, the bad, and the what the fucks, is Face Off. Now, I went to see Face Off at the Pictures. Sorry, that was so lazy putting the camera down, but it's the good, the bad, and the what the fucks around. Now, yeah, I went to Pictures. I remember going in. I was 16, and it's an 18. Always has been. This is when Nicolas Cage really hit big. I mean, The Rock absolutely catapulted him to stardom. Con Air as well followed, and then this came out, and John Travolta as well. John Travolta had that massive resurgence as well. Pulp Fiction was one, But this was the follow-up to Broken Arrow. Now John Travolta and Christian Slater star in that. It's also John Woo's first American movie, and then this one comes along. And you know, I've just sat there, I've revisited Travolta, Cage. I always loved the original Shatter posters. I thought it was really good augmented reality. You know what they did with Legend would have been good when they brought it out on Blu-ray, because the Blu-rays now flash. It's not why I've never bought it. That is just terrible. You know, the one where it's like Ronnie, Reggie, that one. So what do I think of it? Carries the same kind of similar score as The Rock. The music cues. Music by directed by John Woo, music by John Powell. So yeah, action overload cast. So the idea is good. The idea is definitely good. It's very grounded. It's not like he's an idea like coming off the back end of Total Recall kinds of stuff, that sci-fi where it was going. This is really grounded in unbelievable reality. I mean, fair enough, you got Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. I'm sure Nicolas Cage might be a little bit taller. He's definitely slimmer. John Travolta seems to have a massive head. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to point the obvious out here. So this is kind of a script where it was the right time for the right people. They could have tried to do this with Schwarzenegger. They could have tried to do it with Stallone. They could have done it with Van Damme and Dolphin, even though Dolph's like literally 2 foot taller than Van Damme. They probably would have tried it. But it's the right cast, the right time, and the right director. It's not as action-packed as I remember. I think the idea of cutting the faces off, and there's some really good camera work with that. It's, again though, Travolta's a bigger person. I mean, he's sweeting with his wife. I mean, he's a plot hole here. The wife's like, doesn't notice anything different. Do they have the same penis sizes? Did he get his penis like altered and stuff like that? Who God knows what. A lot of great supporting cast. Thomas Jane's in this in a very early role. The guy who goes in to be, he was in Jurassic Park 3. It's a really good idea of the brother. Joan Allen's really good in this. Alessandro Nivolavo, no idea. Gina Garlson's in this as well. I'm sure she went on there. She's with one of my friends recently. Yeah. Executive produced by Michael Douglas as well. So he had his fingers in some pies. Chapter selection, so there's 40 chapters in here. So the program starts white and black font. I like it when they do this because I can recap them a little bit. You got the white and black font. I'm playing Days Gone at the moment. I literally got mauled by some wolves last night playing this. Anyway, 6 years later. So the idea is like, right, okay, shit, the vendetta's there. He killed my son. I mean, you know, and you kind of like, it's set up to go, oh, you kind of wasn't expecting that. It was a bit of an accident, but the Castor Troy character is a malicious bastard, really. 6 years later, so I got the time. It is a what the fuck movie for Nicolas Cage coming up. Hallelujah! He's proper rocking out and that. Sorry, it's a bit too early to be swinging my head doing a rock thing. But obviously setting up that there's a bomb fiasco going down there. Castro and obviously getting on the plane, and then that's the first scene of action. You know, the plane going into the cargo hold and big sparks and big fans. And that guy gets his ear shut off. You know, all for setting up the film. Like a sinister smile as well when he gets blown down the corridor, the turbocharged fucking jet engine, and he's like doing that in a rage. That is Nicolas Cage. But yeah, Game of Chicken. That's obviously before that on the runway. The Archer Home. I got him Eve. Yep. Obviously he comes back. His daughter's rebellion. His wife is just lights are on, but no one's home kind of thing. Steel marriage. I mean, John Woo pulls some good performances out here. Brings the flying doves out. Failed negotiations. Then, I mean, into the prison. Like, the prison seems to stall a bit. They all go to prison. They've all got, again, that futuristic. They've all got sci-fi boots on, and the prison's in an oil rig, and like no one's heard of it. And I mean, he's very high up in the FBI. You think he would know where it is, and the escape, I mean, it almost feels like that could have been longer. But no, they get out. Suicide mission, Archer becomes Castro. It's quite funny when Castro wakes up. Real Castro wakes location of the bomb and the unexpected visitor. Papa's got a brand new bag, but they had to claim the rights to that song before they went ahead with that. Disarming Sinclair's the bomb. Date night. I Need a Light, Escape from Michael's Archer's Birthday Refused, Acting Like a Father, Sasha Adam, Shootout at the Loft. The Loft scene looks lush. I mean, you would just want that penthouse thing. I mean, that just looks amazing. Heart Attacks. And then we'll pretty much just get to the funeral and the crazy boat scene. You know, I mean, Travolta's got some great, like it's like in Broken Arrows. I said, God damn, what a rush! You know, he's got a few of them when he's laughing at his mate getting shot out. And he's like, you know, you wouldn't hear him getting shot at, but yeah. And then you got the massive boat. I mean, when he jumps off the oil rig into the water, I was talking about this last night in what the hell was that film called? Black Eagle. There's a great shot where he goes, and it's a real life dive, you know, and it's like, it's framed, and as he runs off, he loses his shoes, you know, make sure he loses his shoes, and he's lost his Mario boots as well, and he jumps off, and it's in slow motion, and it cuts to different angles, the right shots, and you think, you would just get a really low shot. If you're going to like have someone jump off there and it's not the error of CGI, if you're literally going to send someone flying off there, then film it that way, man. Film it that way. It's the same with the end of the boat scene. It's a great practical effect and all that, but obviously it's in it's the pun is here, the whole face-off thing. When the boat and they go flying off, right, it's clear that it's not them, it's the stunt guys. And if they could replace the girl's face in Jurassic Park when she falls down and the stunt woman looks up and they can just crop and paste it on, do that. Because it takes away that's not Nicolas Cage and John Travolta flying towards you in slow motion as well. So I think there's been some odd choices of camera angles for say on that one. So it's also as well, there's one, I mean I would have left it in because it looks like a failed stunt. There's one bit where there's a lot of diving through things. You know, diving through glass, diving through here. It's like diving up the side of an aeroplane to shoot people like peekaboo. You know, there's a lot of diving. And the bit where he jumps across the table and he lands on the bench and he's like half his body lands here and he's sort of like, you get the shot and just goes, he's just hip just crashes and he sort of goes that way and it's just like, ooh, that would have hurt. So it's a good film. It's a good film because I went to see it in the pictures. Shouldn't have seen it in the pictures. I think the 3D cover should have been a bit better. No extra features, which is a shame. But yeah, it's a good one. Read the paperback. Yeah, it's been put in normalisation. So it's good for the times. Take away the fact that, you know, they are different. The heads have come off and all that. But yeah, right. I don't know what the next one's going to be. That goes to the pile. From Face Off in the same day to Kick-Ass. Oh, sorry, it scratched my eye. I've seen Kick-Ass a few times. Got to get it on Blu-ray. Seen the second one not long back as well. So this is like Aaron Johnson before he changed his name. Mark Strong, who looks like my stepdad Morris, very creepy. Chloe Grace Ortiz and Nicolas Cage. So in the rise of the comic books, this one came along and just showed you that we wanted it a bit more edgy, and I think it did really well. It's a really well made film. Matthew Vaughn, who's actually got his name in brackets on the back just to highlight he's the director. There's a lot of British cast in this. There's like Jason Fleming and two of them from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels are in there. Even the guy who's always in Danny Dyer's films, The Business and that, he was in there. Mark Strong's a great bad guy in this. It's just so funny. I mean, it's styled really well. The music cues are mint, the fighting's good, and the harsh reality of them getting stabbed earlier on. But as it comes down to Nicolas Cage, I mean, it's great that Nicolas Cage was in this because it was going to be. I was going to see if Nicolas Cage was going to be Spider-Man. That would have been interesting. But he was going to be Superman, Tim Burton's Batman, Tim Burton's Superman, and he dresses up like Batman. So we finally get to see Nicolas Cage in that kind of superhero way. And his little roles is really good. He's a really good support in it. Again, he doesn't dial in a performance in this one. I think this is one where it's a passing of the torch. I mean, this is like National Treasure. I really need to do a recap of the original one because I'm not sure. Recap of the first Nicolas Cage Good, the Bad, the What the Fucks, because it's mental just to finish the second one last week and then go straight into this one. I'm enjoying doing them like this actually. But Kick-Ass is a good film. As I say, it's got so much style, It's so like easy going, flowing, funny, brutal when it wants to be, and there's some just great performances. It's weird now that we haven't had a third one. Let's say like Jim Carrey in the second one had everyone going nuts for Jim Carrey to take on a very similar role that Nicolas Cage has done, where he's the and person. But then all that controversy about Jim Carrey like literally distancing himself so far away. And yes, there was a lot of controversial stuff going on in America. I think at the time when Kick-Ass 2 came out, I was in Edinburgh, and you know, it was big because when I was in Edinburgh and I went to see Iron Man 3, the posters for Kick-Ass was just totally taking over the cinema, and like it was coming out, it wasn't out. You think like the windows were taking over everything, you know what I mean, and Jim Carrey was slapped everywhere for it. Changes a lot from the comic books, which I've not read, not graphic novels. But no, I think it's a really, really funny film. Obviously capitalises on the rise of YouTube. Obviously probably did, like, there is real life crime fighters out there, you know, and obviously South Park spoofed it and all kinds of stuff. But no, there's some really cool bits in it, some really cool action sequences. I mean, when Hit Girl turns up and takes on everyone near the end, and just some of the visual stuff as well, the colours and timing and slow motion, it's what I wanted from a film. You know, so I really enjoyed it. So fair play to Nicolas Cage. I couldn't see anyone else playing that role now. But yeah, Kick-Ass is a good film. So yeah, the rage that is. But again, though, you talk about the rage that is Nicolas Cage. The bit when he's on fire and he starts singing his home number. You think, what the fuck, Nicolas? Calm down. It's any card, pick a card, any card. So yeah, I have no idea what's next. You can't see them, but there's at least 15 Nicolas Cage movies up there on the top shelf. I'm just literally grabbing it, and yeah, so God knows what's next. I think this is the 5th one. Wicker Man, World Trade Towers, Face Off, Honeymoon, 5 is Kick-Ass. So yeah, 5 down, 5 to go. Right, next video. This is my new little setup. It's the first time I think I've filmed here using the VHS. So yeah, I spent ages the other week clearing out the corner so I can get right in the corner and see what's going on in the corner. You're watching my videos, The Lost Boys, I've just done that one today, the framing. I still haven't found the novel. Well, he broke my fucking hand. Like, thought that might be it. Misplaced it with Killian's books. So, forgot to mention in Kick-Ass that I actually went to see this at the Pictures with Gally, Barney. I'm sure someone else was with us. And I remember going in, and we were late going in, which I absolutely hated. And as I was going in, I got tripped up the stairs because I was trying to shuffle in, and Garfoot, and I think there was a couple of Ink, definitely Garfoot, were all laughing at us because I fell over going into Kick-Ass. So anyway, Vengeance is the new one I've just done. I've just watched anyway. Right, so I thought this was going to be a what the fuck movie. It technically is a what the fuck movie. Because I'm sure, 2 seconds, just need to press render on my video. Render. Right, okay. So, I was positive that I've heard that Nicolas Cage just appeared in the movie for a couple of minutes, and it was one of them ones where he had his name on the top. So, unless that's a different film, he's in this film quite a lot. He's top billed, named. Now, it's called Vengeance. He is the law. It also comes up Vengeance, a love story. I was like, okay. So, at the start, the rage that is Nicolas Cage, there's a pretty cool stunt, and then you think, what the fuck, because basically there's a little bit of a shootout, some cars crash into each other, Nicolas Cage is at the back, and he gets hit by this car, and it's a hell of a stunt, mind. But you think, oh my god, he's gonna get injured, his partner's gonna get shot. Yes, his partner did get shot, but you know, the next scene he's just bang, 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 bang. Like, did you just not get hit by a car? I mean, what the fuck? So anyway, that happens. Then he's in the bar, and he's watching this girl dance away at the bar. That's cool. And then it cuts to a house party, and some really, I mean, the film, it generally looks alright, but there's he's sitting there watching these fireworks, and you get, I mean, to be honest with you, the girl who's dancing at the bar, it's her again, so it jumps ahead a little bit. So, and there's this little girl on the roof, and that's her daughter, and after they go to this party, they end up going for a walk. down the wrong side of the tracks. And so basically they cut through this property, and beware, like there is a horrible rape scene in it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm like literally editing my videos in the background, and I'm just, what's going on here? Because it's a 15, and I was shocked by that. I did a review the other day for the Patriot with Stephen Ponytail Seagal, and I was getting shocked when I did the video because I was getting, that's an 18. Why? But yeah, there's a horrible rape scene, and the kid witnesses it, and I thought she was dead. So it moves ahead, like, funny enough, Nicolas Cage is just driving down the street, and he finds the daughter, and the lass survives, and it goes into a flip here actually, because basically there's a gang, it's a rape gang really. They all like get like a good lawyer, Don Johnson, and he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna plead the story. Then it goes into like the court case, and like how corrupt the court can be and just manipulate over, like, it's plainly obviously that they raped her, and the court case doesn't go down well. It's like a court hearing, and at the end of it, Nicolas Cage is just sitting there, and this is why this film's a what the fuck, because Nicolas Cage is just sitting there going, and the camera pans right in, and it's fucking creepy. I was like, alright. So basically, he's a former Desert Storm Purple Heart guy, you know, his partner's down, and he basically takes it to heart that, you know, this is wrong, what's going down. And then between the court hearings, there's a scene at the bar, and like I mean, this horrible bit with like hanging cats and shit like that. It's again, what the fuck for a fucking 15. But anyway, there's a scene where the boyfriend or the ex-boyfriend is basically like out in the car park, and one of the rapists fucking throws his head through the car, and it's like, fuck me, what a stunt. And then Nicolas Cage just turns around, and he's standing there and just goes poof, shoots him in the head, and it's like, fucking hell. It doesn't hold back there. That was really, I mean, I did laugh at that bit because it's just so bluntly done. So basically Nicolas Cage then goes on the rage, pulls on the whole black, pulls on the Knight Rider costume, Knight Rider, fucking Ghost Rider, and goes off murdering the next three of them, you know, and it's pretty fucking brutal. Obviously going around and using the, I mean, again, there's some great camera work, even when he's shooting at the start. A really powerful film, like. Johnny Martin directed it. Runtime 99 minutes, felt longer on that mind. But yeah, there's some really good bits in it, brutalist. But yeah, it's good, but it should be an 18. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, I was surprised by that one. I thought that was generally going to be a throwaway, but that's a one to lend Matty Connor, who probably won't be appearing in this video unless I catch him at Buskers next week, just a random one. But I like this camera angle, so this is, you know, videos running around the background. That was the rage. As I said, there's some pretty good stuff at the end of it. Add it to the pile. Yeah, he just goes on this fucking, it is the rage, that is Nicolas Cage. So yeah, let's find out what the next one is. Right, the next one's next. Excuse me. I'm just having half a pack of mints. Got a fetish for mints. Did you know that? Now you do. I'm just going to set this next video away to render. Right. So, this is... The good, the bad, and what the fuck, see, those fucking mints. It's all about the mints. Just watch Vengeance, and then Next. Next was Next. So, again, it's one of the ones I've never seen before. Hugely entertaining, thrilling, and stressful. I'll tell you what, for a 12, there's so many people get killed in this. For a 12. Now, this came along, you know, Nicolas Cage when he was that next level, like the National Treasure movies, and... You know, I think this is just before Bangkok Dangerous. His hair's getting quite long. Nicolas Cage, Julianne Moore and Jessica Biel. If you can see the future, can you save it? So the storyline is pretty simple. Someone steals a nuclear weapon and everyone's like, and meanwhile in Vegas, the crazy magician who's Nicolas Cage can not just pull magic tricks, he can see the future. And so fans of Groundhog's Day, Edge of Tomorrow, this is where you're going. And this does some very clever stuff, foreshadowing, keeps you entertained. It jumps around a lot. It doesn't keep the same formula all the way through the film, especially a bit at the end when he's walking through trying to find where these people are, and there's fucking multiple Nicolas Cages everywhere. So it's a what the fuck movie for that factor, because one Nicolas Cage is just enough sometimes. But he seems to be in on this quite well. He's not phoning in his performance. Julianne Moore is a great, strong antagonist, you know. But the whole Vegas thing, the card trick, how he can see the future and how the outcome, and how he actually gets brought up on the FBI's radar for being that guy who can see in the future. But when he meets this girl, he can see right into the future. And again, with Groundhog's Day, how to try to win a woman over, he sees the multiple things and going down. There's a bit with the Grand Canyon when they go down, and that just looks amazing. The waterfall looks absolutely phenomenal. Where is that place? That looks amazing. Obviously, it's the Grand Canyon and all that. But there's a bit where this old train goes rolling down the hill with loads of logs. The CGI is really, really poor on that. I was like, this distracted me from what I'm meant to be doing. Looking at that going, oh my god. That's quite, you know, the explosion as well. Quite there. But no, it was a very interesting concept for a film, you know. Again, it didn't get too repetitive about what it was going to do. So there. Oh, Blade. Premonition. The Departed. Number 23. Blade. Fracture. So yeah, 12 chapters. The magic act, as I said, dodging security, that's really good. When he's trying to get out with the security, he knows where they're coming, he just does little things, ducks down, and someone walks past now. They're like on the phone going left, right, and he's like, he's out of there. Got to go. Tracking down Johnson, Code Red, the same team, something wrong, witness executions, shoot to kill, every possible ending, I'll find you. So basically, without spoiling too much, because this one is, I do recommend it. You know, it keeps jumping all the way back, jumping the way forward, and it's quite good. Just hasn't aged really very well with the CGI, but some of the things they're doing it is really good. Foreshadowing scenario, some of it's quite funny, you know, and it's quite good on that one. So that was next. I am going to do another Nicolas Cage one. I have no idea what it is. So yeah, Nicolas Cage, The Rage. That is Nicolas Cage, and I think that's number 7. Kick-Ass was 5. Then we've had Vengeance. Now we have Next. So I'm going to try and find one what's probably going to be a what the fuck one. I'm not going to try and do the obvious one with Con Air, because I know everyone wants to do Con Air, but we'll get there eventually. Right, next one. Yeah. Right, we're back. The next one is Outcast. I've just watched it there. Nicolas Cage, Hayden Christensen, and the film it's Hayden Christensen and Nicolas Cage. Phone's ringing. It's definitely on the television. So anyway, Legends are born in battle. Right, this is a what the fuck movie, because Nicolas Cage is in the start and then doesn't turn back up to the end. And he's running around. That's one of the real reasons I've got my t-shirt off. With one of their medieval night things on, giving this weird accent. But it's quite violent. It's very violent at the start. And he pulls it off and he's got like this mullet, like that kind of thing going down. Like a big ass ponytail back here, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? So anyway, after they've killed everyone, it cuts to 3 years later in the Far East, and you forget Hayden Christensen and Nicolas Cage are in this for a while. So this looks like one of those films where, even though it's got Universal on, there's a lot of funding come from Japan or China. I would say. And the story is the old king is about to die, and he's not passing it down to the right son. And that son's mind anyway, so he comes and kills his dad, and like he's going to be the ruler. So anyway, they upset Hayden Christensen, who's on opium, and just kills everybody. It's got some proper violent stuff. There's even a bit where he flies a bow and arrow and it goes way over there and kills somebody, and that's impressive. You think, nah. But no, some violent stuff going down. Nicolas Cage returns with one eye. A pirate, and fucking just unleashes the rage that is Nicolas Cage. There's some pretty brutal stuff in it. Not in bloodlust as I thought it was going to be, but his performance is just like, this is my medicine, and he gets fucking really irate and all that, and he's always drunk, and he turns up with loads of snakes around his arms. So it's what the fuck because of that kind of shit, what's going down there. Hayden Christensen just almost becomes like a saviour. I mean, his swordplay, what he's known for, as Anakin Skywalker, comes into play on here. But yeah, this one is called The Outcast, born on the battlefield, an epic crusade in the fight of justice. It's not really epic. It's only on for like 22 hours. I have no idea what's going on next door. So yeah, it's a what the fuck movie for the Nicolas Cage factor in it. Apologies about the racket in the background there, but I'll see you in the next video. No idea what it's going to be. Well, the next one's going to be Con Air, but before Con Air actually starts, consider in mind this is the uncut version of Con Air. It's an 18, it's always been an 18, but Con Air was trailers for Cars, Shaggy the Dog, and 8 Below. So I'm like, what the fuck? I know Touchstone's probably owned by Disney, yeah? But trailers for Con Air? I mean, come on. It's so handy. Oh god, that got some hammers. So next up is Con Air, Matty Connor's favourite Nicolas Cage film. Where the hell have I just put the DVD? I just had it. The DVD box, I mean, it's classic artwork. I do have the big box original of this. It actually lives in Steel Town Music, and it's got Con Dog instead of Con Air. Oh yeah, I've just took it on that one. So yeah, proper cropped it down. Score's amazing. Love it. Some great score cues. Now, Bad Boys was amazing. Rock came along and propelled Nicolas Cage, and this was the one before Face Off. John Cusack, who's worked with Nicolas Cage on strange films like Southern Fury, but the amazing Frozen Ground. Vin Rames, who I've worked with, nice guy in real life, quite intimidating. Steve Buscemi's in there, who obviously had a lot of cameos in Jerry Bruckheimer movies. It's directed by Simon West, who went on to direct Expendables 2, as well as another Nicolas Cage film I haven't seen called Trespass. John Malkovich steals the show as the bad guy. You know, he was amazing in JFK. JFK is right there what I'm looking at. He's amazing in that. It's a proper popcorn movie. It's got some over-the-top moments which you don't really mind. I mean, when he gets killed at the end of the movie, not only does he get thrown through a window, electrocuted down there, he then quickly gets his head pounded in by some crusher, which is proper over the top. It's got some really funny bits. The script must have to pay a fortune for Sweet Home Alabama, you know. Nicolas Cage's southern accent and his big hair is a bit, whoa, what's going on there? But it's a product of time. It's a hell of a movie. Action wise, it's just immense. There's some great cues in it. I mean, I think John Cusack's amazing in it. The locations, the stunts, the just the absolute full on Jerry Bruckheimer destruction, you know, going on in this movie, and it's aged well, and the CGI isn't so bad. I mean, the bits flying through Vegas at the end, yeah, cool. But it carries like speed. You know, it's essentially Die Hard on an airplane. Why is that all of a sudden got so light? I just looked that way and clicked my fingers. I can see myself. But it's like Die Hard on an airplane, but it's like Speed. They're trapped on the airplane. They get that bit, and then they have that last race under the subway like they do in Speed. The Boneyard stuff's really good. It's very brutal. Danny Trejo's in it as well, who just has to get his tattoo out. The kid from Daylight's in it as well. This is really good. The music though, it's fucking classic music. But no, this is the one where we couldn't go to see it. This was big when I was in school. Again, it was just like every time you saw Jeremy Bruckheimer from then on, I was like, that's being good. But like, I don't think Bruckheimer's made a film quite as edgy and stupid as that. In a way, as if like totally over the top. Brilliant cast, fantastic score once again. Some brilliant comedy, more like Cole Meany, fantastic in it. Great comedy sidekick. Some proper harsh deaths, some brilliant humour, even pinball in it. The guy from Cuffs, who is Cuffs shooting instructor, who's he off? And I've seen him in a couple of things. He's Scully's dad in the X-Files, and then he's popped up in that. He's just the random guy who gets Dave Capelli, or his pinball right on his windshield, you know. But yeah, everyone should have seen Con Air. It's one of Nicolas Cage's best movies, and it's pretty much established Nicolas Cage is an action superstar. You know, The Rock, you know, the scene in The Rock you could get there, then boom. So, I'm not sure how many more I've got. So, what we're down to so far. Hang on. So, we started with the World Trade Centre. We had Wicker Man from the past in Scotland. There's 2. Honeymoon in Vegas. And obviously there's a reference. I mean, Fear and Loathing Leaving Las Vegas is somewhere I don't own. I need to track that down. The one where he won the Academy Award for. There's a bit in Con Air at the end where he's going, Viva Las Vegas. Little tongue-in-cheek there. So there's 3. We have Face Off. The 5th one is Kick-Ass. Beverly Hills Cop, which is also produced by Jeremy Bruckheimer, isn't it? The second one definitely is. Don Simpson, Jeremy Bruckheimer. I found that the other day. Then we had Vengeance. So that was 6 for Vengeance. 7th was Next. 8 was Outcast. And number 9 is Con Air. So I need one more. Just double checking that. And that's the end of the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. So yeah, I'm going to put these over there. And I'm going to go and find another one. So the last film I watched was Raising Arizona. And that's a big box VHS one. £1 per night. Now this is actually really rare because it actually is the preset sample edition. So 91 minutes, 1987. 15 came out the 28th of April 1988. Wacky madcap action comedy nationwide theatrical release. Stars Holly Hunter, nominated for an Academy Award for broadcast news. Excellent trade reviews. 2-year warranty. Nicolas Cage, Perry Sue got married. Holly Hunter. Doesn't tell you how much this is. Oh, there. Price £50. That was. Sorry, the light was really dark there. So Raising Arizona is a Coen Brothers film. John Goodman's in this as well, along with John Goodman doesn't have his name on the back of the box. Along with William. He's the he's called William. William. He's in Firestorm. William. He's in a lot of movies. He's in Halloween. He's in 10 Things in Denver to Do When You're Dead. So anyway, the story, it's pretty wacky, this film. It is a what the fuck film, because it's got like a bit of a true romance, you know, like Arizona feel, and there's a lot of desert. It hasn't aged very well on the DVD I've just seen, but there's some really good car stuff. There's a lot of screaming. John Goodman and William just keep on screaming. They just scream, and then they scream and scream and scream. They scream when they get out of prison, they scream when they get into prison. So the storyline is Nicolas Cage's character is always on the run, and he's always robbing someone, and always gets arrested. And every time he gets arrested, he meets a girl called, you know, he's in love with. And eventually they get married. He tries to go on the straight and narrow, when they find out they can't have kids. And they find out that someone, rich person, has just had 5 kids. So they go and steal one. Okay? So it's a bit of a grim story now, but you know. But then it's just mental because the guy from Ace Ventura, the one who gets duped at the start, when you get away from that door and get warning, assholes are closer than they appear. The guy who jumps on the car, he is just riding around like mad fucking Max, dirty as fuck, and like prodigy of death. Warthog style with like knives, guns, grenades and stuff, and he's hunting down the babies. He's just like Nicolas Cage's character sort of sees prophecies and gets a bit lost in limbo and stuff like that, but it's fucking mental. Like, it is literally crazy. Bundle of joy, one whole heap of trouble. What is that guy called? William. He's called William. But now there's some proper what the fuck moments. There's a lot of funny bits in it. I mean, Nicolas Cage gives it his all. Watching that, you wouldn't think he was the same star as Face Off. As I've just got a message through. Okay, go okay. Need to go on IMDb. Sorry about the computer buzzing in the background. I did a typical Stephen trick when I've finished a review, rendered it, uploaded it, and forgot to put the extra spelling in it. Whoops. Right, so Raising Arizona. Raising. Did I miss an eye on that one as well? Raising, Arizona, 1987. So this one, William Forsythe. Yeah, that's the guy. Sam. There's a lot of people in this, but yeah, really funny. There's a lot of morals. Wacky ending. Just seems to wrap it all up and just get on with it. But there's some really funny bits in it. As I say, a lot of screaming, a lot of shenanigans. But for Nicolas Cage, it is a what the fuck, because it's just so wacky in a sense. So Con Air was a good film. I see they're all just here for us. So I think. So Wicker Man, well, they haven't got a World Trade Center. Was good, but I found it a bit odd. Wicker Man, Honeymoon in Vegas, Face Off, Kick-Ass, Vengeance, Next, Outcast, Con Air, and Raising Arizona are the new Nicolas Cage ones. The box is a little bit different, like. I mean, look how different that. I mean, that's a classic VHS. That's a DVD from The Craze of Fargo, Where Brother Art Thou Far. Nicolas Cage, Holly Hunting and the Baby on there. It's got the chapter selections there. Justice, Salad Days, main titles, Raising Arizona. It's got some really good bits in it. It's got some great shots. Days Gone's in there. So yeah, this has been Nicolas Cage. I'll get the bottom up, folks. I'll see you in the outtakes. It's going to be Nicolas Cage next time as well, because there is 10 other Nicolas Cage movies in the room ready to go. So try and develop this. I don't even know what I've put on the list there. No Matthew Connor this week. This one. God, we were out so late on Sunday night as well. But yeah, Nicolas Cage movies, man. Yeah, sorry about this long outtake. Not really much going on there. Glowing in UV light. Nicolas Cage hair, man, and Raising Arizona as well. It's like proper out there. Some fucking rage and Nicolas Cage expressions. Right, it's been the very end of the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. It's mental to think that 2 of these have been done by the side of a month after a year. 10 Nicolas Cage films. What is next? We'll have to watch that Army of One. That's the one where he's got long hair on top of a donkey. Yeah, okay. See you next time. Okay, he's now take it just so Matty that is in Nicolas Cage movies that is there. Fucking hell. Photo bombed. There's Liam as well. Nicolas Cage movies.
What do you want, mate? We'll get you a drink.
Outtakes.
And now, the end is here.